Australia is getting ready to roll out the royal red carpet for the King and Queen, who we understand are planning to visit, but, don't get it out too soon. It's maybe a little bit later next year.
OK, let's bring in... Don't get what out? Let's bring in former Palace Press Secretary Dickie Arbiter live from London. I think he's talking about the red carpet, Dickie. What do we know about the King's visit?
Well, quite frankly, we don't know anything at the moment. It's speculation. It's appearing in all the Australian newspapers. I said during the coronation coverage earlier this year that I thought the most appropriate time for him to visit and the Queen to visit would be around the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa, to make it one big trip. So to go to Australia and New Zealand first, then to Fiji and then on to Samoa. Now, the problem is you've got to find a big window, because the King's done 3 state visits this year. He's done Germany, he's done France, and he's done Kenya. He's flown in and out in 3 days. You can't do 3 days in Australia. I remember I was with the Queen at the Bicentennial in '88, all those years ago. We did 3.5 weeks. So it's got to be a substantial visit, and it's something that Prime Minister Albanese has got to get to grips with, decide when it's going to happen. My guess is before Samoa, so that he can go to Samoa and grandstand with the political leaders from the Commonwealth countries before he calls an election sometime by the end of this year, next year, I mean, or the beginning of 25.
It's got to be a substantial visit, Dickie, as you say, but we're an important part of the Commonwealth. A lot of people were expecting the King to get here sooner. This will be the first time he's coming since taking the throne, so it will be an important visit.
It'll be a very important visit, but I can understand the feeling in Australia that he hasn't been. But he can't just drop in. He's got to have an invitation. And as far as I'm aware, Albanese hasn't issued an invitation yet. And it's as simple as that. It probably sounds a bit off that he can't just arrive, but, he might be head of state of Australia, but he can't just drop in. So Prime Minister Albanese's got to get his act together, get an invitation to Buckingham Palace, and then they'll make a joint announcement at the same time that the visit will take place. But my guess is, it's a long way off from October next year. Right. And I would have thought sort of early next year there'll be an announcement that the visit's going to take place.
Recent royal visits haven't all gone terribly smoothly. There have been some pretty frosty receptions in some parts. How do you think it would go here in Australia?
Australians are very polite. That's my experience when it comes to royal visits. And I think they will give the King and the Queen a good welcome. Yes, there'll be the dissenters, because there is a group in Australia who like the idea of a republic, want an Australian head of state. Now, come on, you've got a de facto head of state because he's called the Governor-General, and he is an Australian. But presumably, they want a president, and they want to choose the president, which is why the '99 referendum failed, because it was left to the government to choose a president and not the people, and the people wanted that choice to be theirs. So I think they'll get a respectful reception from Australians. As I say, there will be the dissenters, but then you get that everywhere, even here in the UK and in countries where the King has gone. In Germany, Germany was a tumultuous welcome, as was France. France got rid of their monarchy 250 years ago.
Famously.
And yet you had people in the crowd saying, "Vive le roi." God save the King, which is quite something. I don't think it's going to happen in Australia, but he'll get a good welcome.
Yeah, OK.
We'll hide all the guillotines too, just to make him feel more safe. Dickie, always good to see you, and the gauntlet has been thrown there to the Prime Minister from Dickie Arbiter.
He does have a bit on in his defence.
Yeah,
Thank you, Dickie.
Thanks, Dickie.
See you soon.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh my God, Carl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
that never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?
Always happens.